Now that I've opened this topic, I know that, it has to be spoken about. Never in a million years would I ever think that I would be talking about this topic, but unfortunately, the amount of women and men who have been sexually assaulted as children is ridiculous. Nearly every household, I'm not saying every household, but nearly every household has had some form of sexual abuse, and unfortunately usually it's from within the family or someone really close to the family. You never hear stories of, I got sexually abused walking down the street. It's always someone who's around or who's visiting, or a family member who usually carries out an act like this. The sad thing is, for a person who has gone through sexual abuse, is we carry a certain amount of guilt and shame, thinking, did I do anything to initiate it? Did I do something? Is it my fault? And just the shame from it it's disturbing, and the effects it has on a person. These effects, we take it with us for forever, I believe. And I believe when we become parents, that's when what we've gone through as children, that's when it really arises and haunts us. I start talking about this topic, it just makes my stomach turn. But you're not alone. A lot of people have gone through it, and a lot of people do suffer from it. To be able to get by and kind of look at the good, there is no good in it, but me mentally, what I feel like helps me is I tell myself, if I had to go through that to be so overprotective on my daughters, then so be it. I don't leave them anywhere. I don't let anybody look after them. Nearly every human being in their life, I'm always thinking, and I hate that this haunts me, but I'm always, whenever a man is around my kids, I'm always think are you going to do something to them? Why is he hugging them like that? Why is he holding them that way? For a long time, whenever I would think those thoughts about people, and I would think like that about the closest people to me, whether it be my husband, my father, or my brothers, any sort of man in my life who would come near my girls, those thoughts would go in my head, and I would feel so bad, and I'd feel so guilty, why am I thinking like this about them? But then I'd understand it's because of what I've gone through. And in a way, it's at least I protect my children. At least I don't leave them anywhere. At least from when my daughter started talking, I swear to God, Jayana was probably 2 years old, and I taught her, nobody is allowed to touch you. I tell her, nobody is allowed to touch you, Ashosh. Nobody is allowed to see your bum. Nobody is allowed to see your Ashosh. And if somebody comes near you, Mama, you scream and you say, stop, I'm going to tell my mum. And I make it clear to her, if something like that was to ever happen to you, it's not your fault, and you make sure you come and you tell me. And I think it's so important that we have these talks with our girls. We make it clear to them that it's not okay for people to touch them, and this is not okay. And if this was to ever happen to you, you come and you tell me. You're not going to get in trouble, and it's not your fault. You just come and you tell me. Kids think when this is happening that it's something that it's normal, or they're going to get in trouble if they tell their parents. And in some cases, even when the kid has told their parents are in denial, and they tell the kid, no, you're lying, or no, that didn't happen, because the parents can't live with, I don't know what the fuck it is, and then the kid feels like they're at fault. So make sure you talk to your children. Make sure your children are close enough with you to be able to open up to you and tell you if something like this has gone on with them. And make sure if your kids do open up to you, that you comfort your child and you don't blame them. Don't leave your kids with any person. Don't think just because, or it's family, or, they wouldn't do that. I've read a lot, and a lot of the signs I say, if you have a particular person in your life who's always wanting to babysit, always saying, leave them over, I'll babysit, and they're extra friendly with your child, or they're extra touchy, like to be careful. Some of the signs are also the kids, they have a lot of nightmares, they wake up crying, or the kid is sexually doing things that, you know, they shouldn't be doing as a kid. There's a lot of things that you need to look out for within a child for signs of sexual abuse. And what I've learned from it, you know, always talk to your kids about it, always educate your kids about it, and that they are allowed to speak up, and then to not allow anybody to come near them or touch them. Most importantly, make sure you tell your children that if something was to happen, it's not their fault and they're not going to get in trouble. So they come and they tell you. I mean, we try our hardest to protect our children, but end of the day, you know, no matter how much we try to control things, sometimes things just happen and we don't have control of it. We can try as hard as we can to prevent it. We can try as hard as we can to, you know, deal with it and help our children deal with it. But for the women who have gone through sexual abuse, I highly recommend you see a psychologist. I started seeing my psychologist a few weeks ago, and she's really helping me. And I feel like when you talk to someone who's a professional, and they will really understand what you've gone through, and they will advise you the right way to help you overcome it and deal with it. If you've been through it and you want to share your story, I'm more than happy to post up your story, and I'll erase your name just to raise awareness around it, because there are some people that think these things don't happen in households. So send them through. I'll be more than happy to read them.